Hello, Airline Slides people. My name is Henry Tenby. I am the founder of the airlineslides.com website, and I've got a very exciting website improvement I'd like to share with everybody. In this video, I'm going to give you a complete walkthrough in detail of our new invoicing system. Both buyers and sellers should carefully watch this video. It explains how you as a seller can now invoice your buyers and how you as a buyer can purchase and pay for your invoices. What we've done is we've made a major change to how it operates. In the past, the seller would send an invoice. The invoice was sent by email. If the buyer never received that invoice, problems would ensue. So what we've now done is we've now added a completely web-based invoicing and payment method to the auction process. Buyers can now simply go to their My Account, view their unpaid invoices, and pay them. The system is no longer dependent on email delivery. This was an important change that we feel had to be made because more and more ISPs were blocking our website emails. So please make yourself comfortable while I explain in detail how this operates. Okay, gentlemen, first of all, we're going to start with the explanation how the invoicing works as a seller. So you would click on the My Accounts page. At My Accounts, you click on this link here, Invoice Your Buyers, and we'll notice this is now different. So this is the new Invoice Your Buyer page. It loads with the buyer's ID as a red link. That means these buyers have not been invoiced yet. And if you scroll down the page, you'll see some of them are no longer clickable. That means these people have been invoiced. This has been invoiced. This has been invoiced. So the red ones have not been invoiced. So to send an initial invoice to a buyer, you would click on the buyer's name. It loads. This is working exactly the way it did in the past. There's 2 items here, and then you can simply send the invoice. So there's the confirmation right here in red that the invoice has been sent. When the seller sends the invoice, our system will still send the emailed invoice as shown here. That is not going to change. However, the transaction completion is no longer 100% reliant on the receipt of this email as it has been in the past. So if we now go back to the My Account page and go to the invoice page, you can see this is no longer red because I've sent the invoice. So here's another one. I'll just walk through this again. This particular seller has 3 items and the information here is correct. So I can go down here and send the invoice. The invoice is sent. And if we go back to the Invoice Your Buyers, you can now see that Erica 320, that's been grayed out. We can't click on those. So this is how you do the invoicing. But the page now changes in that if you scroll down, you want to maybe send another invoice. Well, I have to explain something. Once you send an invoice, it cannot be modified. That invoice is now locked in. You can send a new invoice to a buyer, but you can't modify an existing invoice. So let me show you how all that works. Now I'm going to show you the invoice page from another account because it's slightly different. So it'll allow us to understand how it works. So in this account, if you click on Invoice Your Buyers, when the page loads, you'll notice none of the buyer's IDs here are clickable. So although you may not have been paid for any of these, the reason why they are not clickable links is because you've already sent the invoice. You've already sent the initial invoice. So this page shows you that you've invoiced all of these people. They've all received their initial invoice. Scrolling down, almost everybody here has received their invoice. All the post-invoice management is done here. So you have to click on this button. It says Post-Invoice Management. So post-invoice management and click the refresh button. So this is the post-invoice management screen. You'll notice that each slide is indicated whether it is not paid or paid. And you can click on either of the links to get the status of the paid invoice, or you can resend the invoice by clicking on not paid. So For example, if you want to resend an invoice, you just click Not Paid, scroll down here, you can select Copy the Invoice to Me, and you can hit the Resend Invoice to Buyer button and resend the invoice. If you'd like to get information on invoices that have already been paid, you can simply click on the Paid link and it will give you the details on which slides were included in that invoice and the amount. So this page allows you to go into details on your paid and unpaid invoices, and you can also hide and unhide invoices that you've hidden by clicking on this button here, like this. Or you can you can click on a particular invoice and you can hide that invoice by selecting the checkbox and clicking the Hide Invoice button.